Welcome to the Verdon Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdon. Hope everybody's having a good day. We're going to wrap this week up with a couple of predictions, a couple of previews, a couple of notes. We went to practice yesterday, so we got all of our practice footage and our practice notes that we will break down. Got a spring game preview. Tomorrow is the day. You want to see all the new LSU faces, all the new LSU pieces. Well, April 12th. I had to make sure it was the date. April 12th is going to be the moment, and LSU baseball takes on Auburn. They've been on a hell of a run, especially on the road in the SEC. Can they keep it going? Got any questions, comments, concerns, as per usual, you know where to drop them in the chat. We'll put you on the screen, get you active throughout the show. Hit that like button, subscribe button, hit that share button if you're feeling froggy, man. Let's talk about this practice, though. So yesterday, went in, same thing as usual. Got our highlights up on our YouTube channel. If you didn't get to look at it, go to our page, go to our last video. It's up there. Biggest thing that I want to tell you. Everybody who was worried, I'm a full screen for this one. Everybody who was worried about a defensive tackle injury, everybody who was worrying, Sadir Mitchell, this is so bad. I feel so bad. Guess what? He's back, baby. Sadir Mitchell back on the practice field. Like nothing ever happened. Looking 100%, at least through the individual periods that we saw, he ain't missing any time. It looked like a minor injury, like we said. He's walking off on his own power. They didn't have to cart him off, this or that. It's a good sign. The defensive tackle for LSU is going to keep pushing. Now, here's some interesting notes, some interesting takeaways, some interesting things that I really do think we're going to have to pay attention to, especially during the spring game, the offensive line rotation. But the key position that everybody wants to talk about is the center position, because DJ Chester has not gotten taken out of that first rotation. He's been in it since the beginning of spring, since the arrival of Braylon Moore, who, quite frankly, a lot of people thought would be the shoe-in center from Virginia Tech, but right now he's running with the twos. It's not saying he can't get his time with the ones. It's not saying it's impossible or that he won't be able to, make it happen. However, as of right now, he ain't in that group. There's another transfer that is not in the ones. It's Josh Thompson. He's been getting his time at right tackle as well. Similar situation, trying to prove himself, trying to get in and get, Brad Davis on his side. Like, all right, we're going to throw you out there. No line rotation, though, I think that's one of the key spring game focuses. Who are going to be the ones? Who are going to be the guys that we can trust out there protecting Garrett Nussmeier, the 5-man unit that Coach Davis is going to roll out there with? Projected right now, if you had to say, based off of what you've seen in spring, from left tackle to right tackle, it'll be Tyree Adams, left guard, Paul Mubenga, center, DJ Chester, right guard at Cohen Eccles, and then right tackle, Weston Davis. That's what has been rolled out there. Has it plugged and played and moved around? Yes. I think there could be some, some movements if a center position were to change. Like, let's say, hypothetically, DJ Chester was not the center. Then I think he takes one of those guard positions. Now, let's just say that DJ Chester is the center. Now, Braylon Moore is a considerable option for a guard. Keep in mind, Josh Thompson played guard at Northwestern, and he's moving at our tackle spot. So they're just plugging and playing and trying to see who fits where. Who's the best concoction? Who's the best 5-man unit that we can put out there? So when it comes down, to the fall, we're not sitting here scratching our head wondering who the hell to throw out there on the field. In terms of how this is going to affect the offense, the offensive line, all this, translation, I think that the running back room and the running game in general, it's going to be something to keep tabs on. I think, obviously, last year, it wasn't what you wanted it to be. However, this year, I think you got so much talent in that room that you, quite frankly, it just don't seem like you're going to have issues, right? The only issue now that you have to worry about is the protection up front and how they're going to be able to clear the holes and clear the way for the talented running backs, because a running back can't just run without blocks, without paths, without different gaps. He's got to be able to move in and out, cleanly, freely, without getting banged up on. And I think that's where Alex Atkins, the offensive analyst, comes into play. Comes over from Florida State, trying to bring in a new, emphasized look on that running game. And with what we've seen, I think he could get the unit back at the top. There's a couple of reasons why. It's the involvement of everybody. It's the combo blocking drills. You're seeing linemen pair up with tight ends. You're seeing tackles trying to help move. The interesting thing to me is in a combo blocking scheme, it helps you simulate game-like experiences a lot more realistically, because it's not always just going to be simply put 5 offensive linemen. A lot of the times, I think when LSU is going to want to try to do an inside run here, with Caleb Jackson or Caden Durham, whoever they're going to put in that beef role, I think you could put Bear Sharp as your 6th lineman, and then you can help him lead the way. There's a lot of things that LSU is going to be able to use to their advantage here. And I think that if you can somehow, some way get that running back room in tip-top shape, you do that through getting offensive line consistency and strength at that position. But you got one more name arriving to that running back room in the fall. I'm talking about him, and everybody's probably thinking, yeah, Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, and then Harlan Berry. Don't forget about JT Lindsey. He's coming in the fall. I mean, we got the spring game right now. Yeah, sure. But whenever the real games come around, whenever the real season's here, whenever fall camp comes and we're back at the practice field waiting for the Clemson game, JT Lindsey will be thrown into the mix. It's another one of those weapons where it just keeps getting better and better for LSU's offense. I mean, you got plenty of wide receivers. You've got plenty of tight ends. And then now you've got a multitude of running backs paired that with one of the best quarterbacks. If you can figure out this offensive line situation, I think you've got one of the best teams. That's going to be the biggest focus for me in the spring game. Offensive line. How can they create that push? What units are going out there? Once again, projected lineup, I think Tyree Adams, Paul Mubanga, DJ Chester, Cohen Eccles, and Wesley Davis to be determined. Spring game, we will have all the content, all the coverage as per usual. It will be Saturday. It starts around 10 o'clock. We'll get you some individual drills. I'm going to post some of those to socials, and then we'll do like a full recap of the game because I believe it is not televised. Very interesting. We're sitting here concealing our cards. I ain't letting nobody read our poker face. Probably trying to go out there and get a dub. They do have 2 more practices after the spring game. You got one on Tuesday. You got one on Thursday. Here's the interesting part about these practices. You're probably just thinking, all right, it's the last 2 practices for LSU Spring. We're going to get one last look before the fall. Let's soak it up. Well, on Tuesday, it's your first practice before the football portal window opens on Wednesday. And Thursday would be your final practice and your first practice after the portal window had opened. Theoretically, LSU's putting somebody in a situation to show what they about to do. Are you going to enter the portal? Are you going to leave us? What's the situation going to be? That puts them, in the driver's seat, so to speak. That puts them in a spot where they get to see their team one more time before that portal window opens. What kind of holes do we have? What kind of spots do we need to fill? Now you really get to see what LSU is going to look like for this fall camp. I think if you wanted to get anything out of this spring period, obviously Saturday is going to be your best contact period. You're going to have all the live reps, all the tackling, all the coverage. You're probably going to see DJ Pickett and all this great stuff. But next week, when it comes time to who's back at practice and who's taking it seriously after the spring game, when they might not be happy with their role or they might have an opportunity to leave and get some money, hey, I think it'll be an interesting period. And I think it's going to be something you should go ahead and keep a close eye on. Let's talk about the spring game now. We kind of, rolled into it a little bit, but we did some practice notes. I want to tell you everything that you are going to see from this LSU football spring game. What to expect, what are the times, and what will I be focusing on? Drop anything in the comments if you want me to add anything to these focuses. Like I said, all coverage coming tomorrow. We'll probably have it out around 3, 4 o'clock, sometime in the early afternoon. But layout is going to be different than any game you've ever seen before for the spring game. It's not a usual game. I mean, they had to change it up. Got some new additions here. Got some things that they took away. But, all in all, gates are going to open to the fans at 9:30. The indie drills are going to start at 10:30. You're probably going to get, 30 minutes of that, 35 minutes maybe. First half scrimmage is supposed to start around 10 a.m. The way that this is set up is the first half scrimmage will be 2 15-minute quarters. Then they're going to move into a halftime period for about 10 minutes, and then they have a second half scrimmage. It's labeled to be determined on the format. Now, it's probably going to be some type of, game time situational drill, maybe some red zone things or maybe even some special teams get-ups. We saw that in the first spring game with Brian Kelly. I'll kind of talk about that one more towards the end. They got some new faces, right? You read the title, you came in, you clicked. This is what I'm talking about. There's 3 new things, and there's a couple more, but 3 ones that I'm going to focus on the most that I think LSU fans are going to get to see for the first time on the spring game. Let's open it up with DJ Pickett. He's obviously going to get on the field. I'd even be as confident to say he's probably in that second cornerback rotation. I'm not going to lie. I know they got a lot of pieces, but after Mansour Delane, Jakeem Jackson, and Ashton Stamps, you can kind of get creative with how you find that fourth. And there's a lot of pieces to be named. I'm not trying to say that DJ Pickett is locked for it. I'm just saying I think he's got the most potential and he's got the most hype built around him to be able to even get thrown out in that spot. I think Michael Turner joins that list. We've talked about that a lot. PJ Woodland is somebody that I would continuously watch and never underestimate. But if DJ Pickett gets thrown out on Saturday, every single person in the stadium will be paying close attention to this. Everybody wants to see how he looks in live reps, how he looks doing, SEC speed coverage. It's a little different than high school, obviously, but I mean, DJ Pickett has got every single, aspect of a corner that you will want in terms of a number one recruit. He's got the length. He's got the personality. He don't seem like he's a real, and sometimes this is good, but I'm just saying he doesn't seem like a kid who gets distracted. Sometimes an athlete just is here to ball. Is here to lock in. He reminds me a lot of Jaden Daniels, that pose. I think him being here for this opportunity, the spring game, the last few months, practicing with them through the bowl period, getting to travel with them to Houston for the bowl period, all of these things, it's going to help him speed up that development that much faster. DJ Pickett is not just a great talent, but he's also very good at realizing opportunities and being able to seize the moment, quite frankly. I mean, if you could talk about even him taking the shot, leaving from Florida to go to LSU to go under Corey Raymond and enter this big spotlight. There was a lot of different options he could have took. There's a lot of different comfortable routes that DJ Pickett could have been on. He made the decision to ultimately become one of the best, and I think that LSU respects it. And I think that him even taking that shot has to be because of the opportunity that he's going to potentially have this season and getting on the field and getting under Corey Raymond and becoming potentially the next Derek Stingley. The thing about LSU here, regardless of if you believe it or not, I really do think Brian Kelly and this company, or his staff, they are putting the best talent out there, period. There's been a lot of talks through the last few years of if it's happening. The Deshaun Womack period confused a lot of people. At times, the Whit Weeks period confused a lot of people. All in all, though, the development of talent and the people that they have thrown out in young roles, I think have been really successful. I'll use examples of Will Campbell. I'll use examples of Emory Jones, Harold Perkins. I'll still even talk about Whit Weeks. And the Harold Perkins situation, everybody's talking about, well, they're not using him right. It's tough to learn two completely different foreign defensive schemes. I mean, you go through two coaches in 2 years and you got to change two different type of positions. Let's just be real. Playing defense ain't cut and dry, go run and get the quarterback. It's not how it is. It's great, and he has a good talent with it, but all in all, at the next level, he's going to have to be able to do a couple of things, and he knows that, and he wants to. And I think they're all on the same page of being able to get everybody in the right spot. DJ Pickett's going to be no different, and with how he's been progressing through these few months, it's been lightning fast. It's been exponential. That's one of the biggest things that I am going to pay attention to this spring game. All eyes are going to be on him. I ain't going to lie. He might even roll out and guard the damn best wide out on the field at that time. Let's sharp iron with iron. Straight up. Let's get him out there with a dog. Speaking of wide receivers, it's a perfect segue into it. We're going to be talking about wide receiver rotations all weekend long. Who came out, who was in the first group, who was in the second group, and potentially who's entering the portal. Because that's something that you have to really be realistic here. If you are any type of college football fan, LSU fan, whatever the case may be, going into a spring game, it lets everybody know their position on the roster. It lets everybody know their chances of seeing the field during the regular season. It shows you everybody that's ahead of you, everybody that's behind you, and everything in between. That's going to create some type of potential discourse in that room. At least. It might not. But I think there's a potential for it because in this age of college football, on Wednesday, you got an opportunity to up and leave, go get paid, and have an entirely new opportunity. And I'm not saying anybody's going to take that. I'm just, kind of a little worried about it. Let's talk about all the guys that they have. They got Chris Hilton. They got Nick Anderson. They got Barian Brown, Aaron Anderson, Zay Thomas, Kyle Parker, Destin Hill, Jelani Watkins, Javen Nicholas, Kylan Billiot, Chris, Nick, Barian, Aaron, Zay, Kyle, Destin, Jelani, Javen, Kylan. 10 guys in that room that are all very talented. At the most, you're going to see 5 to 6. That's half of that room. The other half, sure, very young and probably, your Jelanis, your Javens, your Kylans. They've got the patience to wait another season potentially and hopefully. There's a couple of other names here, though, that I'm really wondering about because, I know Xavier Thomas is going to have a very creative role in this offense. I've seen him get lined up in the back. I've seen him do all kind of roles that I think you've seen Aaron Anderson do. And obviously, Aaron Anderson was ready to take that next step and become that superstar last year whenever we had needed it. So it's going to be a pivotal piece to be able to keep in Zay Thomas. Barian Brown, Nick Anderson, Destin Hill, no way in hell they enter the portal after, just leaving their schools and just getting LSU and just getting stuff under their feet. That's not a realistic possibility at all. So you're really going to have to worry about only a few people. There's only 4 to 5 real possibilities here if anybody's going to portal, and that's just my opinion. It would be, now this is a crazy shocker, and I don't think that you have to worry about this one. I think this one's locked up, but Chris Hilton, somebody that you would potentially put an asterisk next to Zay Thomas, Kyle Parker, and maybe somebody, the younger three that we mentioned, Jelani, Javen, Kylan Billiot. These people are just in a spot where if their role in that room is not exactly where they want it to be, they could get a little restless. This is a different period of college football. LSU has seen wide receivers wait their turn, get developed, and just sit in the wide receiver, realm and turn into superstars. But they really haven't had that money component to it yet. Now, I think you're going to be in a little bit of an interesting period next week. I don't know if LSU has to just lock the doors on the transfer portal and prevent anybody from leaving, but there's a couple of names that I'm going to be interested to see. There could be some offensive linemen, too, that enter the transfer portal. There could be some cornerbacks that get disgruntled. There's a lot of things I think LSU fans should watch, but wide receiver rotation being the second one, DJ Pickett being the first. Third, quarterback situation. You're going to get to see a lot. You're going to get to see Michael Van Buren. You're going to get to see Juwan Johnson. And importantly, you're going to get to see Garrett Nussmeier. You're going to get to see a limited amount of Garrett Nussmeier, I'm sure, if I had to guess. You're probably even going to see a limited amount of Juwan Johnson. I don't know how much they'd be willing to throw him out into the fold in this situation that he's in. Young guy switching over to quarterback. I feel like it's because of it's an emergency situation. The Colin Hurley situation. Now you got a thin quarterback room. I think they were just trying to make ends meet here. And he's a good enough athlete to be able to do it. I mean, imagine being that versatile. You get a scholarship to LSU as a DB, and then they need a running back. They're like, you know what? You're good enough. Let's go do some running back stuff. Put you in the backfield, hand you the ball off, boom, hit pay dirt, touchdown. And then the next year, they're like, you know what? How about quarterback? You feeling quarterback? And he's like, yeah, you know what? I think I could do that. I think that sounds about right. One of those just mind-blowing situations you would have never thought could happen. It's making me wonder how realistic is this, and like, are they going to even show the full package of Juwan Johnson? Because what I'm expecting is a quarterback run package, some type of RPO, some type of quarterback draw, something. Maybe even him in the backfield. I've seen a lot of different creative options at practice. One of my favorite ones being when Garrett Nussmeier is right here under center, or a couple steps back, and he's got a running back on each side of him. So Garrett Nussmeier is right here, and you've got Caden Durham and then Xavier Thomas, and both of them can run out and, damn near run an entire route tree out of the backfield and be a very versatile weapon, because that's going to be lined up over a linebacker or just somebody who's not going to be your quickest option. I think the quarterback situation is going to be very interesting. Like I said, though, Juwan Johnson's going to be one of those versatile pieces. I really, really, really would love to see what he's going to be capable of and love to see flashes of him in the spring game. I think the quarterback you're going to watch the most will be Onse, number 11. Michael Van Buren. I think that's going to be who they give damn near a half to. If I had to guess, and I know, like we said earlier, it's going to be first half 2 15-minute quarters and the second half is TBD. I think those first two quarters are split directly. Nuss gets the first one, MVB gets the second, and then going into that second period, MVB will probably start it and then move it to Juwan Johnson. I think Michael Van Buren is really talented. We talked about him a little bit, and some people are worried a little bit about the accuracy and worried a little bit about some of these underthrows or overthrows or whatever the case may be, the inaccurate moments. It's all a part of the game. It's all a part of the game when you move to a new school, don't know anybody, don't know any of these wide receivers, have never thrown a pass to them, have never played with them, have never played in the scheme, don't know these plays, yada, yada, yada. I can go on and on and on. There's going to be a period where some things just don't look good. Even Steph Curry might airball a damn three-pointer every now and then. Michael Van Buren has the tools to be able to put LSU in a position of not having to enter the transfer portal and knowing who the next quarterback heir apparent will be under Garrett Nussmeier. And it makes me a little confident, because I'm not saying you're not entering the portal, and I'm not saying you're not going to get a quarterback out of the recruiting rankings. But if you've got your guy already in-house and he gets to watch the starter as of right now go through his entire operations and then take the torch and then run with it, it just seems like LSU could create this system of quarterbacks that are going to continuously be talented. And I mean, LSU fans, it has been a long time since you've had, honestly, it's really never happened. This much success, this much talent, damn near 2 Heismans. Now Garrett Nussmeier is the leading favorite, odds-on favorite to be able to take it home. If LSU got 3 quarterback Heismans, bro, that'd be like 6 years. That'd be half of the damn time span that LSU had taken them home. This would put them in an entirely new situation. It all starts, though, with how they handle this quarterback situation on Saturday. What does Juwan Johnson do? How does Michael Van Buren look? All of this. I think they're going to withhold some formations, like I said. I think Juwan could potentially do some running. I'd love to see it, because that's what we're going to be accustomed to whenever the season actually starts. Let's talk about some other spring game notes real quick. I wrote some of this down for you as well. Everybody probably also wants to know about the opponents, the SEC. How is all the other college football foes doing their spring games? These are the ones that are going to be on Saturday, the same day as LSU. Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Ohio State. The next weekend, which will be the 19th, will be Texas A&M, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Mizzou. You even got teams like Penn State doing it in damn 2 weeks, and UCLA doing it in the damn first week of May. I mean, that's outrageous. But Clemson, theirs was last week. We'll break down some intel on it. We're going to talk to you about it on Monday when we do our full recaps. You're going to have damn near everything you need to put together your previews here after this game. And I know it's premature and I know it's early, but once you see LSU hit that spring game field and you see how they react and you see the last transfer portal opportunity come and go, and you really got that final fall roster, you can start making some assumptions. You can start really hitting the board, seeing if LSU's college football playoff contender or not. And I think that they could be potentially. Here's the question marks I would have. These are the only things that you need to know going into this weekend for other schools. I told you everything to know about LSU schools. These two schools, this one school in particular, Georgia, they have a quarterback battle going on. Brock Vandagriff, Gunnar Stockton, they're going to be going back and forth during the spring game. And then Alabama, I think that'll be very interesting to watch, their transition. Ryan Williams will probably not be able to get thrown out there. Obviously, he's been rumored to have some banged-up injuries. They're probably just trying to save him and not risk anything. It'll be interesting to watch Kalen DeBoer try to transition Alabama into their next successful era. Let's move on. LSU baseball preview. They're on the road versus Auburn. They're leading the series all-time versus the Tigers, 112-81. How about that? That's a damn ass whooping. I ain't gonna lie. They're on a 9-game win streak, the Tigers, all in all this season. They just are fresh off a sweep against Oklahoma last weekend. Listen to this stat. Listen to this stat real closely, too. LSU's pitching staff has not allowed an earned run in 27 innings, folks. That's 3 games of baseball. That's insane. Anybody who had any doubts of LSU baseball entering this season, guess what? Whew, alleviated. Out the window. Gone. Looks like a unit. Game 1 of the Auburn series, Cade Anderson will lead you off. He's 6-0. 2.85 ERA. That's your starting pitcher for game 1. He's going to be taking on Samuel Dutton from Auburn, who's 4-2. Not a bad record, but not Cade Anderson, 6-0. I mean, this could be your ace. This could be your guy that you lean on. This could be your Friday guy that just blows some stuff out of the park. Hot bats. Who do you got to watch? You know, I don't even got to say it. Jared Jones, Derek Curiel. Hopefully they don't make Jared wait in no damn line for a porta potty this time, though. Hopefully we got a bathroom for my guy. Jared got 48 ribbies on the year, and he's batting .387. Derek Curiel has reached base in all 34 games. There's your top 2 stats for LSU baseball this weekend. Vernon got you. You want to know if you should be hyped for LSU going into Auburn? You want to be, you want to be hyped going into a potential College World Series? These 2 stats are going to help you get to that point. Pitching staff not allowing an earned run in 27 innings, and Derek Curiel reaching base in all 34 games. That's consistency on both sides, offense and defense. You got a batter that can consistently get on base and give another batter an opportunity to get him home. And then you got a pitcher who's just sliming everybody out on the other side. So shout out to him. Auburn, they got a couple of batters as well. They got 3 people over 300 that I want to note. Ike Irish, 356. Chase Frolic, 345. And Cooper Murray, 344. Also, Auburn, last weekend, beat Bama in the series, 1-2-3. It's just something to note. It ain't something to worry about, but it is something to pay attention to. I think the Tigers got it. If they can sweep this series, oh my God, you flex on everybody in the country. Even if you drop 1, you are looking like a unit. I'm excited. Hopefully they go on the road and keep this up. Yeah. Today they're going to be playing at 6 o'clock. That's what's on tap for LSU sports. Let's roll right into this segment. Everybody loves it. Let's move into it. Here's what's on tap for today. Like we said, baseball, 6 o'clock. Tomorrow rolling in Saturday, April 12th. We know what the biggest event is. It'll be the spring game for LSU. It's starting around 11 o'clock. So when the official period is going to be. If you're a fan of Baton Rouge area and you want to come by, come in. Gates open at 9:30. Individual periods at 10:30. Like I said, game roughly at 11. You'll have a beach volleyball game versus Tulane at 10:30. Volleyball versus Texas at 12 in Houston. Soccer plays Florida and Mississippi State tomorrow. Softball at Texas A&M. Beach volleyball again versus UNO. And then Saturday, you will see baseball at Auburn at 6 o'clock. Let's move into Sunday. Men's tennis versus Auburn at noon, and then versus Alcorn State. Then women's tennis at Auburn, softball at Texas A&M, and baseball closes out their series Sunday at 2 o'clock. So these are the times, once again, for your baseball series. Today, 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Can LSU baseball get it done? Drop it in the comments below. W or L? If L represents they lose this series. W represents they smash it. Jerry Jones gets a home run. Derek Carroll gets a damn hit in every game. My brother K gets 40 strikeouts. I don't know. I don't think he's going to get 40. But, hey, I'm feeling good about this weekend. I ain't going to lie. They got another thing this weekend. Everybody's probably going to get confused when I bring this one up. UFC 314 in Miami. Dali, Pitbull. Volkanovski versus Lopez. Co-main event. Patty Pimlet versus Michael Chandler. I'm going to just briefly talk about 2 of these fights. And I'm not going to bore you and give you the whole rundown. But, hey, I think that this could be an opportunity. And when I mean an opportunity, I mean last Monday, I come on the show and I'm all hype and I say, hey, Florida, under, let's have a day. And we had a day. I think I got another one of those moments where we can have a day. So if you want to have a day with me, let's talk about it. Alexander Volkanovski, phenomenal fighter, been on a little bit of a slump. If you don't watch UFC, I'll break it down for you. Fought a guy named Islam. Very talented lightweight, right? One of the biggest pound-for-pound fights really in recent memory. Unfortunately, he loses. And he loses drastically. Gets knocked out. On a short notice. Not necessarily short notice, but a lot sooner than people would have liked. Alexander Volkanovski fights a guy named Ilia Topuria. And Ilia Topuria comes in and starches him in the second round, quite frankly. Knocks Volk out a second time. And here is Alexander Volkanovski going in his third fight, back-to-back KO losses, fighting Diego Lopez, who is a knockout machine, a Brazilian artist, if you will. I don't think that Volkanovski has enough juice left in him. I don't think that battery is going to be able to just last that whole fight. I think that Diego Lopez is probably going to get him out of there early. I ain't saying bet Diego Lopez KO because he's plus. So go ahead and just smooth take Diego Lopez money line. That's the move. And then if you want to talk about that co-main event, you got Iron Mike Chandler and Patty Pimlet. And I love these type of fights, right? You can even compare Volk and Lopez to this, right? You got a UFC fighter on one side and Michael Chandler that is on the way down. Is what it is. You got a UFC fighter in Patty Pimlet who is on the way up. That's just the crescendos, and that's just the nature of the beast. I'm not a big guy on fading the younger bucks who are hungrier and who are on the way up. There's just something about the old analogy of waking up in silk sheets. It's very similar to why Conor McGregor isn't a big sought-after MMA prospect. I got Patty Pimlet beating Michael Chandler. Now, if you want to feel crazy and you want to throw a lottery down, a little $5 parlay, then what you do is Diego Lopez KO, Patty Pimlet submission. That's what you do. Now, that's a crazy one. The real one, the real ticket here this weekend, if you want to have a day like we did Monday, go bet on Diego Lopez, money line straight up. Go bet on Patty Pimlet, money line straight up. Leave it at 2 legs. Don't get greedy. Don't add nothing. And have a day. I think that's the ticket. That's the ticket. I had to hop on and let y'all know. I'm on a heater. I wanted y'all to be on the heater with me. Hope y'all appreciate that information. UFC 314 tomorrow. Spring game tomorrow. We got a big old day. I'm going to be up at 9 o'clock. We're going to hit the spring game. We'll have all kind of content on socials for you up until 11. And then we're going to start filming the spring game. I'm going to hurry up, rush to the library, and get all that edited. We'll have it up early afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock. Like I said, stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. Turn the notifications on. So whenever you get that noti from the Verdant Verdict spring game highlights, you can go ahead and click, watch it, and get the whole rundown. If you're going to miss it, you might as well tune into us and get it recapped really quickly. This has been the Verdant Verdict. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Please hit the thumbs up on the way out. And if you're trailing with me tomorrow, good luck. Hope it works out. Y'all have a good one.